Greetings and welcome. Welcome back. My name is Beaumont, and this is my channel, brand new. I'm just being in alignment. That's what has brought me here today. My channel is different. This is not a traditional tarot oracle reading channel. What we do with the name of this channel, Vibrational Guidance Over Truth, is we go based off of the vibes, the images, the synchronicities, and the colors and the words of our decks. And based on that, we glean what our higher self, what our soul, our spirit, our ancestors, our ascended masters, our guides are communicating to us, that are messages that we have been missing out on, in order to be in full and complete alignment, in order to acknowledge where we have come from, and to revive our spirit and self of sense of moving forward, and to do that. So each week we'll begin with a 10-minute reading. 10 minutes for the first deck, which Monday's deck was the Earth Crafters Tarot. I am not a hoarder of any amount of divination or truth. So if you would like to go out and get that deck yourself, you can, and it's linked in the description box below. We have the Herbal Astrology Oracle, which was what we pulled from for our 2 questions on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we went to our Nature Oracle deck, amazing deck, and got some very clear messages from that in our 10-minute reading. And then finally, on Thursday, we had our messages from our spirit guides, that are animals, oracle cards messages. And wow, was that one that was so revealing. So in our last video for the week, the one that will be a bit lengthier, is going to be where we pull from all 4 decks. And we are normally going to start off with, if we have a tarot deck, we're going to start with the tarot deck. And then from the tarot deck, we're going to move into our oracle decks in order and see what messages are meant for us. And unlike the 2 questions for Monday, the 2 questions for Tuesday, the 2 questions for Wednesday, and the 2 very specific questions for Thursday, there are no questions for the Saturday reading. We're just purely going off of the guidance that Spirit brings in. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with the tarot. Thank you, divines and guides and higher self, for this moment. What messages do you have for us about rooting ourselves in emotion, our inner grounding, and our healing from the soil and from nature and our spirit guides? What messages do you have for us for the theme of this week that has not yet been revealed, or you want to confirm a message that has been revealed? What messages do you have for us? Thank you. About the theme of herbal healing for this week. Wow. We've got some messages, and we're going to take them all. What messages do you have for us based on the theme for this week? Wow. And that did not come out. I caught it, so it's going back. All right. So we take everything as is. Let's go ahead and see what we have. In the upright, we have the 9 of water, the peach. Next, we have, after the peach, we have the seaweed card. Very beautiful, seaweed. I love seaweed personally. Again, we have the moon. And we have linden. All right, weaving something together, making a fence. We also have the 6 of fire. The 6 of fire. In addition, we have the sun, St. John's wort. And some of these I do not know how to enunciate. We have the mallow again, the 2 of water, so the 2 hummingbirds. In reverse, we have chamomile coming out in the reverse. And we had the chamomile come out earlier this week with the herbal astrology deck. In the reverse, we also have the garlic, so the strength card is in the reverse. And then we have next in the reverse, pine, the 6 of earth. And then coming in upright, wow, I had no idea these were going to line up, but we got a message here. The 3 of air, echinacea. And then we have the tower with the mushroom. So reading these cards, before we build on top, we clearly see here that there's some communication in the air, 3 different messages that will come in. And these different messages, whether they be from people in the dream state, they are going to bring a tower moment. The 6 of pine with earth, you're going to feel very grounded with these messages that are coming in. And these notes here are bound up with pine cones and pine leaves. And it looks like they're going to be put in the fire. So whatever this message is that's coming in, you might need to just take it and leave it, burn it. But what it will impact is your sense of strength with the garlic. But you do have a good partnership, someone you can depend on, someone you can rely on, whether it be your spirit guides or an actual physical person. But do know that with the chamomile in the reverse, there's only but so much comfort that that person can pour you. What you need to do, 6 of fire, is you got to figure out, make a 6-step plan. How are you going to create beauty out of all of this brown and warmth? How are you going to create beauty from that and light your fire to move forward, irregardless of the messages that have come in? And the suggestion is, remember that you are the sun. And when you remember you're the sun, you balance out your emotions with that moon card. And you're able to build up the type of fences with this linden twig here that's building a fence. You're able to build up the boundaries that you need, the relationships that you have not been establishing the proper boundaries in. And when you do that, you set up these boundaries like the 9 of water, you're going to have so much fruitfulness coming in. You respect the balance of life, how the water nurtures the roots of this tree and how the roots are able to allow for the flowering of the tree branches, which when they are ready are going to release naturally at perfect right time their overabundance of truth flowering for you to be able to harvest that and the droplets of the joy of the water. And what does this result in? This results in the seaweed, you being able to take what you have learned, soak in a bath with the candle and your soap, and purify yourself at a beautiful view. Wow, that's so clear. That's so clear. Spirit guides, are there any messages that you would like to clarify that are on the table? How can we, through the Herbal Astrology Oracle, receive clarity? I feel like this is already clear. But what additional messages for us about this week and the journey we're clearly at right now in our life? And I will say we, because I am here with you all. I am a lifelong learner. I love to learn. How are we going to be able to truly learn from herbs how to move forward? Not saying we're going to engage with these herbs and drink them, but what messages and images are on these cards to provide confirmation? Is there anything that you would like to provide confirmation for? Anything that you would like to provide confirmation for? Thank you. All right, we got clarity. Boy, do we. In a specific area right here on the moon card. So let's see what we have over moon and water. First, we have moving from moon to water is this tower card, the transfiguration. I believe we had this earlier in the week. So you got to look at those emotions and get to calmer waters with those emotions. Number 2, something about your emotions you're guarding, you need to take time to look at them, because when these emotions, this Palo Santo, when you truly learn, and there's a 55 here, wow, and a 22, double confirmation, 2 2s and 2 5s. You got to figure out how to guard your emotions in order to appreciate this harvest when it comes in, or your emotions can mess up your ability. Your lack of guardianship over your emotions can mess up your ability to enjoy this peachy 9 of waters. Purity is here again. So you need to purify your emotions. Purify, what does it mean to guard yourself? Are you going to be catty, chatty, rude? Are you doing this calmly, figuring out the right way for you to not answer questions? Just because someone asks you a question doesn't mean you have to answer it. And when you do that, when you purify how you're going to transform, you get that harvest. All of this is letting you know what you got to do with your emotions in order to get there. And from there, you get here. Stiller waters, more calm waters, in the contained, beautiful, luscious place where you want to be. Might not be out in nature. It might be in your home, in your tub. What else is coming in right here on top of the moon? You need to nurture yourself. So purify yourself, nurture yourself, figure out what that looks like. And that might mean for some of you, we got it again, going on a retreat with the 27 card. And right here we have 52. So look at that. You have 55, 22, and 52. Now we have 27 for retreat, and we have another 7, metamorphosis. So you've got to go through this metamorphosis. You have to take that time to go deep within your emotions, still yourself, go through this transconfiguration so that you can be ready when the season is nigh, because the season is here, but you got to do the work. You got to go through this metamorphosis. And who's the only person who can work on you? You, baby. Just you. All right. Now let's see what nature can tell us about all of these herbs. What's an animal spirit that can confirm or relay any new messages concerning? There's communication coming in, leading to a tower moment. We got to burn what we hear, not allow our strength to override the sense of partnership with spirit. And our partnership, if it's with a person, is not to provide us too much comfort. We got to light that fire. Remember, we're the sun. Deal with those emotions. Metamorphosis has got to happen. The transconfiguration, the retreat, we got to do that and set up those boundaries where we did not have the boundaries with our emotions before. Okay. Then outside, everyone will be able to see that peace. And we know what we really are grateful for is that peace we have on the inside. Nature Oracle, what can you clarify for us? Nature Oracle, what specific areas of our life, of this story right here, of this narrative that we might not have been paying attention to, what do you want to clarify? And I did not get those last two, so I'm going to shuffle again. What messages do you want to clarify? Thank you. Wow. What do you want to clarify? What do you want to clarify? So, in 3 specific areas, I'm going to start right here. Eagle, the guide, number 9, is coming out on top of the 6 of earth, the pine. Pine and 9 and guide. So when this message comes in, what it looks like is the information is here to guide you in making a decision clearly. This information is going to guide you in a certain direction. Now, is that a direction from the speaker of the information, or is this a direction of guidance that is divine? You got to figure that part out. Sit in that stillness, that still quiet moment. Right here on top of our chamomile, orca, community. No solo. Very few, if there are any solo orcas. 39, right on top of our Hija, Hija of water, chamomile. So someone you might go to for comfort. They got records. They're going to have some information. Again, confirmation right here of the message. There is a message coming in that can impact your strength, but use that information to guide you in staying strong instead of strength and reversal. When this partnership, this communication through the dream state, through spirit guides, through ancestors, through a physical person, through a spiritual message of animals you see in nature, or just feathers of animals come in, use the record, make note of those messages, and rely on those spiritual messages more so than the comfort of an other. Because what is right after realizing that you're not going to get that comfort from this message coming in from whatever this partnership you're perceiving it's going to be, this community. Right on top of the 6 of fire, that action. And we did ask, what are those action steps? Action step number 1, that message is purely that message coming in the air, 27. Number 2, nurture yourself. Like a coral reef, 45, nurture yourself. Focus on self. You might be in a community, but guess what? Though you are candles on a table amongst a myriad of other festive decorative items, like a coral reef, you might be an orange one amongst a blue one and a yellow one and a green one and a sea foam colored one. Nurture yourself. Feed yourself first. When you do that, that leadership we talked about earlier in the week, learn to nurture yourself first. That's when that leadership ability comes through. And what does that lead to? True kinship, where people appreciate you. Kinship, like the sonship of the lion, 41. Wow, look at that, 40, 41. When you honor yourself as the true leader that you are in whatever area of life you are a leader in, and being a leader doesn't look like the same thing that culturally we have been taught being a leader looks like. Domineering, always at the front. You can lead from the back. You can lead from the side. You can co-lead. But either way, you're not tapping into that leadership, as what we heard earlier this week. And now with this message coming in and this record, knowing that certain communities of people that you have been depending on are not going to provide you comfort in this message, you need to come up with a 6-part plan. And plan 1 is acknowledge the message. Don't ignore it when it comes in. Number 2, nurture yourself. Give yourself some time, some grace to swallow and sit within the soil what you have just learned. From what you learn, come up like a leader with an action plan. How are you going to move forward? How are you going to interact with these communities and this situation? And when you do that, the true kinship, sea otter, 41, right after the 40, who you're supposed to be in alignment with, who respects you as the son, who knows how to deal with your emotions and not deal with, but respect your emotions for the guidance that your emotions have been for you, and acknowledging and respecting the fences that you have put up, the necessary boundaries. That true kinship that respects the boundaries is coming in. It's already here, actually. It's already here. So now let's get from our final deck, from our messages from our spirit guides. What are the final notes? What are the animals that we need to hone in on the spirit of these animals that clearly have been given the right to have life in the same timeline as us here on earth? And whether we see them on a TV screen or in a video short, or they're actually really out there in nature around us, depending on the type of animal it is, what is the true essence from you, source, from you, spirit guides, ascended masters, and ancestors? What is the nature of the spirit animal that we need to see to clarify this narrative on what we're going to do in order to get here from here? How do we get here from knowing that some of us are already here or about to experience this here? Thank you so much. What are the spirit animals? Thank you so much. What do we need to embody? What animal in nature do we need to embody? All right. We got one answer. Cut to the point. No fluff. In order to put up these boundaries, before I even look, in order to put up these boundaries, and these boundaries be so respected that the harvest comes in and the overflow of the harvest allows us to use what's out in nature to nurture ourselves, we got to be like the camel. Trust that you have the resources. Oh my goodness. Trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. You know how to set up these boundaries. And you know, not having emotional boundaries is what has kept you from feeling like the sun. Store, like camels do, water. Store up. Hold your emotions back where they need to be held back. Everybody don't need to have every part of you know every part of you. You tell them your triggers. They know when to push them, when they want to. Go through the metamorphosis. Let that tower be. Got the tower twice. Let that tower be. What that tower be? It is here to show you how you truly feel. Once you know, right on top of it, how you truly feel, guard yourself, get away from people. Not a time right now with emotions that I have going on in my head and in my heart to really be around people. I need a long time to think, in the car, on the couch, outside, on the park bench, in the bedroom, in the shower, in the tub. I need to get alone. I need to guard my emotions and figure out, how did I get here? What are the choices I have made that are allowing me to feel these emotions as it pertains to this message? And I'm going to purify my emotions. I'm going to channel them in the way that Source has for me to perceive these as the leader that I am, because all this is going to be is a moment for me to be a testimony for somebody else. And that testimony is going to nurture somebody else who is in that time in their life going through something I've already conquered because I mastered my emotions. I took myself on a retreat, wherever that is, in the tub, on the toilet. And by going through this metamorphosis and putting up these boundaries for the emotions that people tend to like to abuse, I realized I got the resources. The resource is me. The resource is giving myself time to sit with myself and to be honest about what parts of my life have I not put up the necessary boundaries with family members, with boss, with finances, with children. It is time to put up boundaries. How much TV, how much social media that is junk, that's not edifying and nurturing to your soul and your spirit. What are the boundaries, the dogmas, the things that you have done that are unnecessary rituals, that are unnecessarily religious, that are unnecessarily political, unnecessarily emotional, that are clouding your judgment and not allowing you to perceive yourself as the abundant holder of the resources to shine like the sun. You are the sun. The sun has boundaries. It does this thing during the daytime and it lets the moon shine at night. Sun and moon are out here, 1819. But though there's a boundary between the sun and the moon, they don't disrespect each other. They both nurture this nine of waters. They both cause the ebb and flow of the roots in the soil and the ebb and flow of the branches that flower. They both play a part in this harvest that is enjoyed in a small way initially while the waters are still moving. And then they truly calm down when those waters can be cultivated into a safe haven space for you to sit back and revel and rejoice blissfully that through being in that moon phase, you can enjoy your tub, your candlelight like moonlight. But in order to do that, you're going to have to go through these challenges and realize that you are the resource in every challenge. So I love you all very much. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I am so excited for beginning this journey with you. Things will always change. The only constant in life is change. But we're starting with this theme of nature for the first week because we got to go back to our roots. We got to go back down in that dark place in the soil and figure out how far down in certain directions did we go and hold ourselves accountable. And when we realize that we've gone so far down and tried to come up as something other than our true self, messages are going to come in to confirm that we're not where we're supposed to be. Things are going to start to shed off of us. And we don't fear that tower moment because it's not just 3 messages, it's 6 messages, it's multiple messages. We've had the signs of the people and the places to let go. Some of us are staying in places that we have situational wounds from and always frequenting that gas station, that grocery store, that church is conjuring up these memories that are forcing us to not feel strong like we actually are. And we're maintaining these relationships thinking that we got an ace boon coon, a good friend who is our ride or die, when actually record shows that they're not that person. They have not been providing us the chamomile comfort that we have perceived by looking at them with rose colored glasses on that they are. We need to be the guide over this sixth message. Can some of you sit down and honestly say you got six bona fide signs, text messages, communications from other people about certain situations that have come in? And now that you've got these six messages that have shed light, six, that has shed light, what you gonna do? You just gonna let these messages, these confirmations that are clearly shedding light on this situation going on, you just gonna let them blow in the wind again? Or are you going to nurture yourself and say, damn, I have allowed myself to be lied to be bamboozled in order to get to this place of being the sun and feeling confident in myself and being balanced with my moon side, my shadow side, and my light side? I got to step up and be a leader. What does being a leader look like? The Linden, leadership in Linden. You got to set up those boundaries, cut people off. I'm not going to talk to you after a certain time of day. There's a timer that comes on after 7:00 p.m. I don't talk to certain people. Period, point blank. Don't care who you are or how you feel about it. You can be a parent, a child. We're going to go on silent mode. Anything you need, you can communicate it through notes. Whatever those boundaries need to be, set them up. No matter how drastic or harsh it seems for the outside, remember what you're taking care of is yourself, of your sense of kinship with yourself, so that that right community can come in, who reminds you that you are resourceful, that you can go through this metamorphosis of looking through your emotions, and they're willing to be there with you because they want you to have your own 9 of water. So if you need to go on a retreat, they're going to support you in going through retreat because they're the true kin. Not this orca, water. No, few numbers removed, 3941. They're going to come in and they're going to nurture you. And they're going to allow you to have the space to purify yourself and become golden gold camel. And they're going to say, guard yourself above all else. And that guardianship above yourself looks like a transconfiguration. When relationships break down, they just break down and they stay broken down. Because what's most important? Being in that seaweed state of mind, being able to cultivate your own sense of peace. So thank you all so much, and I hope you have a good one.